Hello friends, I am Dr. Shailaja Parmar. Welcome you on the e-learning platform of Kari Sarva Vishwavidyalaya. Today we are going to start with one of our subject, business organization and management. And as a part of that subject, we are going to start with the very first chapter of the subject, management. Yes, now understand what is the meaning of management. Getting things done through others is called management. If you want to get things done from others, and how will you get those things done from others, will be having a particular manner, a particular method that will be known as the management. So in short, getting things done through others is called as the management. C.S. George has defined management as getting things done through others, and as a manager. A manager is one who accomplishes the objective by directing the efforts of others. There would be one superior, a person who would be leading and coordinating the work of his or her subordinates. So, what would be his task? The accomplishment of the organizational objective. And how he will be doing that? He would be getting the things done through others by directing them to put in their efforts effectively, and that is what the meaning of management. Now, why the management is necessary, or why it is possible, why it is necessary for us to know and understand the management? With the help of management, it would be clear to understand and explain the concept or any of the problem in the company properly. It will help us to get the understanding and explanation of any of the problem in the organization properly for the proper implementation of principles of management. Yes, there are certain principles of management. If you have the knowledge of management, then only the question comes of knowing and implementing the principles of management. There are certain functions which needs to be followed to understand and to solve the problem. Then definitely, if you have a proper management, a proper system in your organization, it would be helpful to you. System becomes more effective with the planned efforts. For further research, even the management would be very helpful, and it is helpful even for training the managers so that we can get the work done through their subordinates, and that is why management is an inevitable part of the our life. Now, when we talk about the management has a certain functions. Okay. Now, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. These are the main functions of management, and always the management function starts with the planning. It means what? Planning means deciding in advance. One should know that what he wants to do and how will he proceed for the same. So that is why he needs to answer certain questions, and if he can ask those all W questions, then it would be said that he is going for proper planning. The questions like what to do, when to do, how to do, by whom to do, and where to do. If an individual can answer all these 5 questions, yes, definitely he is actually going for implementation of the planning in his work. The next function is an organizing. Yes, organizing wherein identifying and grouping the work is very important. Once an individual is ready with the type of work to be done and the type of activities to be done by him, then in that case further the task comes that delegating the authorities and responsibilities, simultaneously defining the authorities and responsibilities, and further the establishing the relationship among all the established people, those who are working for the particular organization. When you are performing all this, it would be known as an organizing. For when you are planning, when you are organizing, definitely to get all these things done or to implement your planning, an individual needs a support of a human resources. So an appointment of a right person at a right job at a right time is known as the staffing. Once you are there with a proper human resource, then there is a step comes directing. Directing means you are actually guiding to the workforce which is there with your organization, that how they are actually supposed to perform with their activities. And the last come, that is controlling, which is the utmost important part of the management functions. Why? Because if there is no controlling, you will not come to know that what is the performance, that how the employees of your organizations are performing. It would be very difficult for you to go for appraising the performance into the organization. Definitely all these functions are one of the chapters in our syllabus, and we are going to study all these functions in detail in coming days. Yes. Now we will understand that there are certain experts into management and those who have contributed a lot to the management, and one of the expert is Mr. Fayol, Henry Fayol. So we are going to understand Henry Fayol's contribution to the management. He has been considered as the father of modern management. Why he is considered as a father of modern management over here? Because the concepts which he has, or the principles with which he has actually come with, talks about specifically the higher level organization, higher level management into the organization, and those principles which are been introduced by Mr. Henry Fayol are been first published in his own book, which is named as General and Industrial Management. Now let us have the look at the contribution of Mr. Henry Fayol in detail. When we are talking about Fayol's contribution to the management, he has come out with two things, that is theory of management and managerial qualities and training. Like whenever you are like talking about any of the activities, at that time there are various types of activities which are to be performed in an organization. Like there would be a bunch of activities in fact. So those activities can be the technical activities, commercial activities, financial activities, security activities, and accounting activities. So it would be the sum of all these activities whenever an organization comes into a picture. Next one is the managerial qualities and the training. Whenever a manager is looking for the accomplishment of the task with the various types of activities, at that time a human resource would be employed in an organization. And what are all qualities which are required over there? At that time, physical qualities, mental qualities, moral qualities, educational qualities, technical knowledge, and an experience along with all these qualities is expected out of a human being who is actually performing or imparting his services to the particular organization. So these are the two things which are been specifically been given by Henry Fayol. Now we'll understand the 14 principles of management which have been universally accepted all over the world. We'll have a look at those principles one by one. Number one, division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to general interest, remuneration, centralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability, initiative, and the last one as spirit, the corps. These are the 14 principles. Now let us have the look at all these one by one. Yes. Now, when you are talking about division of work in the sense that every individual in an organization with which you are trying to get your work done, that work is to be distributed among all the individuals, those who are working in your organization, according to their skill, knowledge, and qualification, so that you can have the benefit of specialization from them. Principle of authority and responsibility talks about the right to give the order and command. In short, the right to give order and command is known as an authority. On the other hand, accomplishment of the work in time is nothing but a responsibility. So, when the authority and responsibilities are the two sides of one coin and both of them are go hand in hand, it means what? There has to be a balance between these two. The third principle is principle of discipline. Discipline in the sense there has to be utmost discipline into the organization, like self-imposed and the command. An individual, those who are working, or the employees, those who are imparting their services into an organization or your organization should be self-disciplined, as well as a controlling or a monitoring authority has to be there in the form of a leader, so that a command discipline even can be obtained over there. Next come is the principle of unity of command. This principle says that every individual, a person should have only one boss. A person should not get orders from n number of bosses. One person, one boss, that is one person, one reporting to a one boss. That is what is been told by unity of command. Why this principle is important over here? To avoid the confusions as far as achievement of goals are concerned. Next comes is the principle of unity of direction. It means what? Here the employees, those who are working in a group, should have only one superior to work for and one plan for the success of one single objective. Next one is the principle of remuneration. This is what a motivation which always acts positively for every individual. So a remuneration should be very adequate and fair. It means an individual should be paid an adequate and fair remuneration for the services he has imparted in an organization. Next one is a principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest. In short, the interest, yeah. So, desire of fulfillment of objective is a matter of general interest. Like if it's a matter of general interest, why? Because if the interest of the organization has been fulfilled, automatically the interest of the employee gets fulfilled. Next one is principle of centralization. Centralization in the sense decision making at one particular place, that is at the main office itself. But it depends on the type of organization. Like centralization may work smooth with a few of the organization, it may not work. Next one is principle of the stellar chain. Stellar chain in the sense the here authority from top to bottom. Like when the employee in an organization should know that when and where to go with their problems or to ask for in which type of circumstances. Higher the responsibility, higher the authority. Next one is a principle of order. Principle of order here is very important because it talks about two types of order, material order and a social order. Material order means what? Everything which is there. It means every material which is there into an organization has to be put at a proper place so that it can be cashed at any time. Social order means a right person should be given a right job, so that a balance between a human requirement and the sources can be maintained into an organization. Next comes the principle of equity or an equality. Equality means equal treatment to all employees. There should not be any bias or the difference into the attitude and the behavior whenever there would be an interaction with any of the employee in an organization. Stability of the tenure. No employee should be removed within a short period of time. An employee should be there for a longer period of time. It means what? Lesser or a shorter turnover ratio is always advisable for the company. Next one is principle of initiative. Initiative means it has to be within the limited authority and discipline. That subordinates of the organization should always be motivated to take initiative into new plans and new things. They should come out with their own suggestions. Spirit the cob over here, like there has to be a proper gang plan, right? A person at the top and the person at the bottom. Like if there is Mr. A here, Mr. B would be reporting him, C would be reporting to Mr. B. That it is Fayol has suggested a gangplank over here which is used to prevent the stillage and bagging down actions over here. So these are the 14 principles of management. So this is how the Mr. Henry Fayol has contributed a lot to the management. The second expert whose contribution is very significant, that is F.W. Taylor, that is Frederick Taylor. He is considered as a father of scientific management. He has defined the basic problem. Now, what is the basic problem? The act of knowing exactly what you want men to do and then say in what is that they do it in the best and cheapest way. What Mr. Frederick Taylor says that you as a superior authority into an organization should know that what you want your subordinates to do, and you have to look after that how they will perform those activities in the best way and with the minimum expenditure. Now let us understand the features of scientific management. Separation of planning and execution. F.W. Taylor has emphasized on that the personnel or the number of people, those who are engaged into planning are not engaged into an execution. It means what planning and execution are two different things. Apart from that, functional foremanship even is been emphasized by F.W. Taylor. Functional foremanship we are going to understand in detail later on. Apart from that, he has talked about the job analysis. Now, when the job analysis is to be done, at that time, 3 studies has to be taken care of. Time study, motion study and fatigue study. Time study in the sense, a minimum time for a movement from one place to the another. Motion study to reduce the wastage and to save the time. And fatigue study means over here that no employee should get bored with the routine type of work. He should be provided with a proper time to rest with. Next come is a standardization. Standardization in the sense it is to be maintained that standardization has to be maintained in respect of tools, time, resources, working hours, working conditions and many more things as far as into an organization are concerned. Economy here means that every activity which takes place into an organization should always be motivated for the maximization of the profit so as to reduce with the reduction of wastage and the cost. Financial incentive, it goes along with the principle of remuneration which has been specified by Henry Fayol, that a financial incentive will always be motivating to the workers to work efficiently and effectively. And a mental revolution here means that every employee in an organization should work together, so they should work in a group and there has to be a common soul. There has to be a coordination between all the employees into an organization, employees and employers of the organization, and even the workforce all together. Now we will understand the principles of scientific management which are being specified by F.W. Taylor. The very first principle which is been specified over here is replacing the rule of thumb with the science. So science is nothing but the rules, regulations, methods, principles. There is a logic behind everything. So there should not be any rule of thing when you are going for an implementation of any of the action in the organization. There has to be a harmony in a group of action. This is what second principle of F.W. Taylor. It means there has to be a unity into the groups, into the employees, those who are there as a part of your organization. Cooperation over here means that every employee in an organization should be a group. They should work with a common soul, with the full of coordination. A proper next principle talks about development of worker. Here means a proper appointment, that is a right person at a right job at a right time, and to assist them to work to work properly and effectively, to give their output effectively. An organization should help them by imparting a proper training and spending lot on their developments. And the last principle is the maximum output, that there should be a continuous increase into the production and the productivity instead of restricted production, either by management of the or the worker. Produce the product in such a way that it creates a problem for how it should be divided. That is what the last principle of the scientific management. Here we have understood the contribution of F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol. Apart from that, we have understood the functions of management today and the meaning of management. Next lecture, we will understand that there are various thoughts, school of thoughts, which are there as a part of management, and they do have their own things to portray as far as implementing the management into action. So next lecture, we will look after that. Thank you.